He knows that I have no problem telling someone they're wrong. We live in an era of fraud in America, not just in banking, but in government, education, religion, food, even baseball. I thought we were better than this. I really did. And the fact that we're not doesn't make me feel all right.
Trying to help people.
We'll find out more. Obviously, not an easy gig. There's no doubt about that. There's the opening bell and the CNBC Real-Time Exchange. And the big board, it's data and analytics company Spire Global.
Welcome back to the big long. Dow snaps a 5-day winning streak, falls more than 280 points. Dow's worst day since August 4th. S&P dropped, and it's been the worst day since July 19th, as well as the NASDAQ has been its worst day since July 27th. And people are still freaking out. Now let's take a look into what is going on.
The booming economy otherwise.
Well, with the consumer, we have to wait a bit.
We have to wait on the consumer. Well, I don't know, but inflation's been here for quite some time, and just the price of goods have been rising the past couple of months, and companies have been coming out and saying it. So I don't know what he is talking about, especially with the millions of people that are unemployed that will be coming off those extended unemployments early September. Well, while we wait on the consumer, the S&P doubled from the pandemic bottom, and on average it takes a bull market more than 1,000 trading days to reach that milestone. Now, that's something absolutely absurd, because think about if you invested at that bottom instead of being fearful at what would happen in the near future. You would have some serious money right now. And as we're still waiting for the consumer here to see what will happen, let's take a more deeper dive into the actual retail numbers that were posted today.
This is very hard to read this because of the confusion around the variant. How much is it really messing with the reopening? And the answer is it's messing with it a little bit, for sure.
So it sounds like he's a little bit confused, because he answered his own question there. The question he asked was, just how much is the variant messing with the retail? And he said it. Just a little bit, but a little bit. I mean, not for nothing. The retail sentiment, that's a lagging indicator. Q2 finalized end of June. So now that it's already mid-August, I mean, things have kind of gotten a little worse. Alright, as you already know, it's been a big retail week, and now Home Depot posted earnings. They actually posted better than expected earnings with a beat on sales, but their bottom line numbers was not a beat, and they actually ended up dropping today about 5.2%. Walmart took a hit, Lowe's took a hit, so as earnings are coming out, it seems to feel like the peak has already happened, and maybe it's just a ticking time bomb for it to get worse. Let's hear what Jamie Katz from Morningstar has to say about Home Depot's earnings.
Kind of a triple whammy for Home Depot today. A sales miss, home builder sentiment at a 13-year low, and retail sales coming in worse than expected. What do you do with the stock?
Yeah, well, I think from our vantage point, we've thought the shares were a bit overheated for a while now. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we think the normalized earnings power of the business is significantly lower than.
All right, well, there you have it from Jamie Katz, folks. She just said it. The price of the stock was already built into the earnings, and since consumer spending has peaked a couple months back, they're looking at their earnings as too good to be true, because come Q3, who knows what's going to happen? Are we going to see another round of stimulus checks? Are unemployment benefits going to get extended? Is the job market going to have a big boom? We don't know yet, so this is all something to look forward to in the near future. Now, let's get into some technicals. Alright, so futures right now, we have the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all down. Dow's down about 27 basis points, S&P down about 2.25, and NASDAQ's down about 13.25. So, as we get into it, today's market diaries, we have 70 new stocks that hit new highs, but we have 354 stocks that hit new lows. Now, that's something actually to keep your eye out, and that's in the NASDAQ and the NYSE. We have somewhat even 97 stocks that hit all new highs, as well as 93 stocks that hit all new lows. So, now let's take a deeper dive into the sectors and actual movers. Alright, so we have stocks that were mentioned in the news, stock movers, highest volume, and sector movers. So the top stocks that were mentioned in the news today were Intuit, Under Armour, Home Depot, Walmart, Tesla, and Apple. I've touched upon two of those stocks today, Home Depot and Walmart. Consumer stocks, retail stocks, they both dropped today, and that is a huge sign for the retail side of things. Tesla's down because of the car accident that was fatal. Investigations going into that again. And Apple, I feel like Apple is going to go on a bull run due to the fact that it's back to school shopping and people are going to spend a lot more money on Apple products. And then for stock movers, let's go to the sectors. The top sector today was healthcare. Healthcare was actually down quite some time throughout the day and finished positive. And then consumer discretionary stocks, they were the bottom sector today, declining 1.4%. And the highest percent gainers today was pharmaceuticals, and that was led by Fairfax Pharmaceuticals. And then the highest percent loser was Helbiz Inc. by 29.67%, and the highest volume was another or the same pharmaceutical company that actually had the highest gain today. So a little insight there, and now let's look at the technicals of the SPY and the Qs. Alright, so we have the SPY here on the daily chart. Alright, so we have the SPY here on the daily chart, monthly chart, and the weekly chart. As you can see, we took a hit today, touched the 20-day moving average right here at 441. Now that's a level that we haven't been at since the first week of August, so that's something to keep your eye out. Are we going to see another decline tomorrow? Not 100% sure. I mean, looking at the way that was today and just past historically from a month and weekly perspective, seasonality tends to fall into place, but this isn't a normal market right now. And the SPY, well, I shouldn't say the SPY, the S&P 500 and the VIX have a correlation in seasonality. As the end of summer comes, the VIX typically rises until about holiday season, while stocks decline during this time until holiday season and people go out and spend more money. But who knows what the future has in store with the economy from now to October. And it's 2 months away. It feels like it's actually a lot farther away, but 2 months will be here before we know it. So that's my outlook on that. I think we will actually be red tomorrow to start off and maybe push back to today's close. That would be a good sign of bulls and bears battling it out. So as the Qs, ever since it topped out at 369, it's failed to break over that price 3 times right here. As you could see, my line it tops, it hits that 4 times or 3 times and couldn't make it over. And then today we saw a low of 363, and we hit that yesterday too. So the fact that we're testing that level again, that brings us all the way back to July 30th, and even about a week before July 30th, July 22nd. So that's a level to watch, because if we break that, we might see maybe 350 levels that we haven't seen since mid-July. So I would definitely keep an eye out on that, because volume is definitely not all there, and options are really driving this type of ordeal. So real quick, I want to go over 2 stocks right now that I touched upon. Now, AMC yesterday, it was looking bullish. It was showing signs of a possible breakout of this resistance right here, and I mentioned that the RSI was making lower highs and higher lows, as well as the volume oscillator here. And as we look at the monthly and weekly, you could see from the weekly standpoint, it's really holding that support of $30 right there. And if we break out even more tomorrow, I said if we broke out of this support level of the triangle, we would test that 37 levels, possibly 38, and we actually did. I believe, what was it, 38? Yeah, $38.78. And the fact that we closed today above $37, that's a strong bullish sentiment. But just be mindful, this is strictly for technical education, and I'm not giving any financial advice. This is straight for education, entertainment purposes, because volume right here is pretty low. I mean, it definitely came back from previous days, but still looking for that volume breakout. Hopefully, if we could break out of late July's volume, I think that'll be a really good push for 40 levels again. Now, I don't like calling out price targets because you could be wrong, and I don't want to hear everyone's thoughts if I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I'm right, right? So you gotta take the good with the bad, and that's that. So tomorrow, right now, I'll give you my outlook on that. Let me pull this up. Alright, so we got a 5-minute chart, an hour chart, and the daily chart. So daily chart is showing bullish sentiment right here. Hour chart, we have a nice cup and handle forming right here, and then also a nice little bullish pennant holding that support on the hourly at around 36, 50, 60 levels. So if we push out with some high volume over that 37 levels, we could definitely go and test that 38 spot again and possibly push 40 tomorrow, depending on the bulls, right? If the bulls come out firing, because each morning this volume has been increasing over the past few days. And I also pointed out that our technicals here on the daily sentiment, the MACD pointed into a reversal, but take this with a grain of salt for right now, just because it's negative. It needs to cross over that 0 to really show that strong bull signal. So be mindful of that. You got to pay attention to the resistance levels and obviously support levels, as well as volume. So just be smart. Don't take whatever I say and think it's 100% right. Do your own DD, and I hope you all learned something from tuning in.